by living life as an adventure into what is new and good and better. The same old is fundamentally false. It's a kind of limiting mentality. Notice how you have changed in the last minute or the last hour or the last day or week or month or year or decade. You are changing. The physical realm is constantly changing at the molecular, at the atomic, at the subatomic level. The chair I'm sitting in is changing. At the astronomical level, the Earth is rotated and revolved around the sun. The solar system itself is moved. The galaxy is moved through into a new space and time. As you might expect, the metaphysical is constantly changing too. As you are both physical and metaphysical, you are constantly changing. Change is somewhat counter to the default tendency of the human mind. The default tendency of the human mind is to create order and patterns and habits from all your sensory inputs, even if those sensory inputs have no order or pattern, even if those sensory inputs are constantly changing, which they are. So on the one hand, it's useful, it's normal, it's healthy to create those kind of mental shortcuts or hacks. Once you learn how to tie your shoelaces, you don't have to learn it again every time you put on your shoes. On the other hand, those shortcuts or hacks metaphysically can represent lack or limitation or scarcity or density. It can represent thinking that counters healing and growing consciousness. And there is a natural resistance to change or an inertia around change. Change, either adapting to change or changing something about yourself, does require some mental and sometimes physical effort. Really? You might be so convinced that your life is just fine as it is and that it's up to everyone else to change and everything else to change to accommodate you. Or you might feel your life is going to get better if you win some magical metaphysical lottery. To paraphrase Bishop Yvette Flunder, real spiritual growth, real change requires confrontation. To change your life, you must confront your habits and patterns and beliefs and be able to review them and release them and revise them. The Science of Mind and Spirit has a fundamental premise, and I'll start with what it isn't. It's not keep your thinking the same and change your life. It is change your thinking and change your life. If your life is challenging, you must first change your thinking to move through those challenges. And once you've changed your thinking to move through a challenge, you can repeat the process to improve your life even more. If your life appears to be great, your thinking must continue to change to sustain your good life. And it must change again to expand your good life from that point. Based on what humans know about physics, the material universe is constantly changing. At the quantum level, energy changes to matter, which changes back into energy, which changes back into matter, and so it goes. At the astronomical level, the celestial bodies, the stars and planets and galaxies and comets, or whatever, they're all forming and deforming and reforming. It's the same with metaphysics. Living spirit is ever changing and ever evolving. And since you are at your essence living spirit, you too are ever changing and ever evolving. In the Science of Mind and Spirit, as you heal and grow consciousness, you evolve a conscious awareness of a benevolent, beneficent force, which I like to call that force living spirit. Some call it the force, or God, or universal love, or the infinite creative. As you heal and grow your consciousness, you develop and evolve a God, a living spirit of your understanding. The Science of Mind and Spirit, healing and growing consciousness does not require you to believe in someone else's version of God, only that you apply spiritual principles through a spiritual practice. And as you do, a God of your understanding naturally appears and evolves. And that nature of living spirit in general, you don't have to take my word for it. This is just a suggestion. The nature of living spirit is loving and intelligent, creative, peaceful, joyous, and compassionate. Living spirit is that beneficent presence, that benevolent force that is within you and surrounds you. And living spirit's a dynamic, active thing. It communicates with you by way of positive idea. Living spirit guides you by way of intuition. And most importantly, you have a direct experience of living spirit through those positive inward sensations, those positive feelings that are also known as God qualities. Living spirit is an ever-expanding circulation of love, peace, joy, and compassion. So, too, are you an ever-expanding circulator of love, peace, joy, and compassion. Imagine the greatest moments of good in your life, of a moment of love or peace or joy. Imagine that experience. And in those moments, you feel and have felt an extraordinary positivity that is out of space and time. Living spirit is multidimensional. It is self-giving and always receiving your positive thoughts and feelings. Living spirit is always creating and recreating out of itself. Living spirit is always disorganizing and reorganizing. From a human point of view, only a small percentage of the physical universe has kind of slowed down to being something observable. Most of the physical realm is represented in undetermined energy and undetectable matter. And only a small fraction of that matter can humans perceive. And even at the subatomic level, subatomic particles that are organized into an atom, they're in constant motion. Even the densest and slowest moving atoms, the subatomic particles comprise a very small percentage of the space that the atom takes up. The atom is more not there than it is there. And the same is true for the metaphysical. The moments of pure positivity you experience are but mere glimpses of living spirit within you and surrounding you. You are an offspring of living spirit. The changes that you manage, the changes you make, your mastery of change, that is living spirit growing, expanding, evolving through and as you. So I'll offer up some suggestions for your science of mind and spirit metaphysical science experiment on your consciousness and your life. The first one is to continually improve your primary metaphysical laboratory skill, which is noticing. Noticing is simply taking it all in. Noticing means no judgment or criticism. And if you notice a judgment or criticism with the utmost compassion, you notice that too. Noticing means being an objective observer. And at times, you may want to record the data that you notice in a journal. The metaphysical science experiment on change begins by setting a few intentions. As you form your intentions, integrate those intentions into spiritual practice as frequently as you can, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. For example, my intention might be to manage change in my work. I seed my meditation, my contemplation, my affirmation, my spiritual study, my journaling, my visioning with that intention that I beautifully respond to change at work. Even though a dedicated and consistent spiritual practice appears to be maybe stagnant or static or mindless, it appears maybe to be a habit or a pattern, and all of that appears to be contrary to an ever-changing world. The spiritual practice is actually helping you go with the flow of change, to be in harmony and rhythm with an ever-evolving and ever-changing universe. Each time you engage in a spiritual practice, your consciousness heals and grows at least a little, sometimes a lot, but at least a little. The next moment is lived with a slightly more evolved consciousness. So it really isn't a repetition. It's a step up, a step up, a step up. It is a time of year for change in your surrounding world, be it the daylight, the season, the weather, the year. And it is the time of year in which many make changes for the coming year. So set an intention to notice change in the world surrounding you. The intention includes being less reactive to negative change and more responsive to positive change. As you manage change in the surrounding world, you are curious about positive change, you're fascinated by positive change, and are more able to join in the flow of positive change. Set another intention to discover something you want to change about yourself. It is often changing a habit or a pattern or belief. As often as you can, notice that habit or pattern or belief. And as you notice it, it comes to conscious awareness. Once it's in conscious awareness, you can easily make the change by changing your thinking. At times, process might appear to be 2 steps forward and 1 step back. At least you're 1 step forward. Each repetition of your spiritual practice changes more of you for the better, and your new and improved thinking becomes your more prevalent thinking. Your changes for the better are not just for you. As your thinking changes for the better, your life gets better, and so too do the lives your life touches. As you become more loving, peaceful, joyous, and compassionate, you are a loving, peaceful, joyous, and compassionate presence. And then you tend to circulate more love, peace, joy, and compassion. As you heal and grow consciousness, you're rarely stuck in the past. You rarely trip into the future. You live life more moment to moment. And your best life is lived moment to moment. One might view moment to moment as a kind of choppy cycle of stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Moment to moment is a little like the video you're watching. Video is a sequence of still images recorded and played quick enough to look like continuous motion to human vision. Think of that moment to moment good life as super high definition frames of video. Those moments are a healthy pause. Those moments are a short time to savor the richness of the moment with the understanding that this moment flows freely into the next. In so doing, you master change. You mindfully and compassionately navigate changes in the surrounding world. You freely join in the flow of positive change. You easily make changes that improve your life and all the lives that your life touches. You live this human phase of your soul's journey in wonder and as an adventure in which you are living spirit, and living spirit is living you. Here's to a love-filled, wondrous, and adventurous holiday season. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you. I know and trust you are lovable, loving, and loved. Until next time, farewell. Thanks for tuning in to the Vida Spiritual Connection. Please use the links in the description to request prayer, to donate to Vida Spiritual Learning Center, and to join the Vida mail list. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And for more information, visit our website at vidaslc.org.